Not gonna lie, when we're talking about finding gems on YouTube, you see these channels right here and that, bro. One of the biggest gold mines on YouTube and that, man. The way they break down things and make everything a visual concept and that, man, so cold. Shout out to AI Telly and that, bro. How El Mencho Cartel was captured in that, man. Well, the whole cartel surely didn't get captured in that, bro. You know what I mean? But let's get into it. I get what they're saying.
How exactly was the world's richest drug lord finally captured? Well,
Yeah, I
it
wanna
actually
know.
took both US and Mexican
Oh yeah, sorry. Furthermore, we watched another video. If you guys didn't know, this guy got captured and killed because of some punani. Like literally, yeah. He wanted a booty call and that, bro. He wanted some hold one of his little things and all of that type of stuff. Came to the house, police followed her. You know, but let's see how everything went down and that when they actually got to the spot, though.
intelligence working together, and their strategy was
Crazy.
the exact same
Top 3
tactic
killers,
they
man.
used to find
Women.
Bin Laden. The trick is follow the courier and you get the prize. They tracked down his associate and kept tabs on one of his many girlfriends. Because yes, this 59-year-old guy somehow had a love interest. Maybe because he is richer than the Sinaloa drug lords with a $20 billion at his disposal. For the longest time, the guy was a total ghost. He stayed entirely off the US radar by intentionally keeping his operations away from American citizens.
That's what I'm saying. I've only known this guy for like what, a week, maybe even less than that, bro. Like I knew nothing of this guy.
Entirely off the US radar by intentionally keeping his operations away from American citizens. So how did it all finally end? It happened at a cabin. And even when he was completely surrounded by military helicopters, he was still protected by his own heavily armed henchmen, rocking RPGs and armored vehicles. And all hell broke loose when the Mexican special forces started attacking with guns blazing. The operation that brought down Mexico's most wanted man didn't happen in a bustling city. It happened in a fortress. The primary firefight, the exact moment the Mexican armed forces went head-to-head with heavily armed CJNG operatives, fatally wounded many of the drug lord's members. This is
I'm not gonna lie though, this is probably the military's any military's not necessarily dream and that, bro, but it's best case scenario, in it. There's no civilians around, there's no innocent children, women, all of that type of stuff, and that, fam, you're in a secluded place, you can go crazy. You know what I'm trying to say? Light that place ablaze,
CJNG operatives fatally wounded many of the drug lord's members. This is located in the western state of Jalisco. But Tapalpa is a rugged mountainous municipality about a 2-hour drive southwest of the state capital, Guadalajara. For the cartel, this wasn't just a hideout. It was a tactical stronghold, utilizing the harsh terrain as a natural defense against the military. But taking down the kingpin was only
that got compromised by a female because the boss couldn't keep his horniness on the wraps, bro. Like
the beginning.
honestly.
Almost immediately following the raid, the CJNG unleashed hell. A massive, highly coordinated wave of retaliation exploded against government forces and public infrastructure. This violent pushback, often referred to as narco blockades, spread like wildfire across the country. The violence hit hardest in Jalisco, engulfing major cities like Guadalajara, Zapopan, and the international tourist hub of Puerto Vallarta, where the chaos even spilled into the airports, throwing tourists into a panic and forcing immediate flight cancellations.
You see, that's what I'm saying. That's why when them were in the middle of nowhere and that, fam, that's the army's dream right there, bro.
The
Crazy.
cartel's fury wasn't contained to just one state. The violence rapidly bled into Michoacán, Guanajuato, Colima, Tamaulipas, Nayarit, Zacatecas, Guerrero, and Aguascalientes. In a desperate bid to paralyze the region and exact revenge, drug lords members hijacked civilian vehicles and semi-trucks, setting them ablaze to completely block major highways.
Yeah, we saw this.
They torched local businesses and gas stations, engaging in brutal, open street shootouts with local and federal security forces. But how did he become the richest cartel in Mexico? For years, he was a ghost. A phantom who commanded an empire of blood, methamphetamine.
This is where it becomes, very, it becomes from like that kid selling a couple of dimes on the block or selling a couple of bags of weed or whatever to get by, to then becoming this, having 20 billion at your disposal, and then your men are just touching cars and business. That's when ish really gets out of hand, because the person that comes from the hood or whatever, you can kind of to some degree understand why they're doing it and that, bro. But when it gets to this extent though, like what we doing here? Like what are we doing here, man?
And federal security forces. But how did he become the richest cartel in Mexico? For years, he was a ghost. A phantom who commanded an empire of blood, methamphetamine, and billions of dollars. But on Sunday, February
I got that one. Hey, same one, you know.
22nd, 2026, the ghost was finally cornered. Nemesio Ruben Oseguera
The
Cervantes,
ghost.
better known to the world as El Mencho. He was the supreme leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or CJNG. He didn't just run a cartel. He commanded a heavily armed paramilitary force that brought the Mexican state to its knees. But how did a former farmer and deported immigrant build a 20 billion state to its knees?
Okay, why do you guys make the guy, the dummy and that, bro, go down on his knees
Cartel.
like that, bro?
He commanded a heavily
Like
armed
what?
paramilitary force that brought
Broski's basically doing the splits,
Mexican
bro.
state to its
Like,
knees.
no one has ever gone down on their knees like that and put the side of their foot on the anyway. I ain't never seen a human being do that, bro. Like, what are we doing? Go back though.
But how did a former farmer and deported immigrant build a $20 billion war chest? And what exactly happened in the violent, fiery raid that finally took his life? To understand his explosive end, we have to look at his quiet beginning. In the 1980s, Mencho was just an undocumented immigrant in the United States, working the marijuana fields of California. He was arrested,
Crazy.
served time in a U.S. federal prison, and was deported
And
back
kept
to
coming
Mexico
back.
at the age of 30.
He kept coming back.
That deportation was the match that lit the powder keg. He joined the Milenio drug lords in Mecocan, building a reputation as a calculating, ruthless enforcer. When that cartel fractured, Mencho didn't just pick up the pieces, he forged a new terrifying weapon, the CJNG. Mencho was a master strategist. While rival cartels like Sinaloa bled themselves dry in civil wars, especially after the capture of El Chapo and the recent fall of El Mayo, Mencho capitalized on the chaos. He pivoted away from traditional routes and went all in on methamphetamine and fentanyl, focusing on highly lucrative markets in Europe and Asia.
Crazy. The maddest thing is, bro, we've seen this time and time again, man, in all these different drug shows that we watch or whatever, where whether it's a confidant close to the main boss or one of his children that's also part of the whole organization, you said, yo, we should go to the newer stuff, and then the whole boss and that bruv wants to do it old school. No, let's stay. Like, we've seen this play a few different times and that, from fictionally though. First time we're hearing about, well, I'm hearing about it in real life though. You know
This
what I mean?
strategy kept him slightly under the radar of American politics,
like any business
while
though, man.
quietly
Go to what's
amassing a
popping, what's
staggering
new.
$20 billion empire. Former DEA agents claim the CJNG has vastly more money than the Sinaloa cartel ever did. But unlimited
Crazy.
wealth buys unlimited arrogance. A couple of years ago, his phone was hacked right while he was having a conversation with the police. If you don't want your phone and emails to get compromised like that, you should get this military-grade VPN.
This is crazy.
Think of Surfshark VPN.
This guy just bust an ad. No, not gonna lie though. I like the way he did it though. It was slick. 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 You didn't get me though. It was slick though.
O2
I like
recently
it.
surfaced
It was
Act
slick.
Free,
That was
assured
slick.
by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Listen to this recently surfaced actual wiretapped phone call between El Mencho and a local police commander, codenamed
Yeah, we
Delta
heard
1,
this. This
who
is
was doing his job a
crazy.
little too well.
Delta 1.
Hey, ¿quién habla?
Mira bien, hijo de tu... Soy Mencho, güey.
¿Cómo?
Relaja tu puta gente a la verga. Soy Mencho, güey. Relaja tus partidas, si no te voy a partir tu madre, tienes toda tu bola de perros. Te tengo identificado 30 güeyes. Hasta tus perros te voy a matar si no te relajas, güey. ¿Cómo ves?
Ya está, señor, ahorita los bajo.
Oh, no cuelgues, hijo de la verga. Te
No.
tengo ubicados en
No, no le estoy colgando, le estoy diciendo, ahorita los bajo.
Póngase bien las pilas, güey. ¿Qué se le cuesta hacer amigo?
Yo
Uno no
estoy-
se mete con ustedes para que se pasen de verga.
No, señor, ahorita yo se las bajo.
And the thing is as well, bro, I wasn't even thinking how damning this is to police, because obviously in countries like Mexico and that, but many other third world countries and all of that type of stuff and that, and we know how corrupt they are. But just there's something about it though, actually having it on tape, it hits different. It hits
Venga,
different.
mire, revíremeles a todos los hijos de su p madre porque todos agarran dinero y son buenos de puercos.
Sí, es lo que me están
Se me
diciendo que
ponen al
están...
tiro o tú eres el primero que vas a marchar por ellos, León.
No, señor,
¿Vale?
no, señor, no se trata de eso. Yo-
Váyanse a la verga porque aquí los vergazos están al 220, ya se la sabe. Y miedo no hay.
No, señor, no se trata de eso. Ahorita yo los hago.
Entonces, si quieren amistades, sí va a tener un amigazo. Si no, a su madre a la verga.
No, yo sé, señor.
Ya estoy hasta la verga de que no entiendan, loco.
Señor, usted me conoce, usted sabe que yo soy amistad.
Pues por eso me extraña. Yo te entiendo, güey, pero pues no mames, yo sé que tienes gente y la familia de verga,
Yo lo-
póngase las putas pilas.
Bro, the crazy thing is, fam, bro, that this was basically the biggest cartel boss in recent times and that, bro. No doubt an enemy of the flipping state, bro. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? $50 million reward put on his head. And he's talking to the police like this. Ah, man. Yo. And this is why I understand why people get money and become absolute D-heads and that, bro. Because, bro, come on now, man. Like, a lot of people are going to see this and know how wrong it is and that, but at the same time be infatuated with it and want to replicate it and that. I mean, you get me? That's why all of these gangster films and all of these crazy cartel movies and all that, that's why they sell so much and that. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, this isn't a film, but this is real life, bro. Real life.
No quiero que me apagues este teléfono. Después te voy a marcar, güey. A ver si no se relajaron a la verga, ¿eh?
No, ahorita le voy a marcar.
A todos en general, güey. Relájenme los verga, por favor.
Ahorita le voy a marcar de otro número a este número que me está marcando.
No, este ya no le vuelvas a marcar. Yo le marco cuando yo pueda.
Ándale, pues.
Pero no me lo apague porque lo voy a entender como negatividad.
No, señor. Ahorita le mando un mensaje de otro número para que me marque los...
Órale, pues, Melón. Ahí les quiero eso, que se relaje.
Sí, señor. Usted me conoce. Usted sabe que...
Me lo marco cuando yo pueda.
Ándale, pues.
Pero no me lo apague porque lo voy a entender como negatividad.
No, señor. Ahorita le mando un mensaje de otro...
I interpret that as disrespect.
Órale, pues, Melón. Ahí les quiero eso, que se relaje.
Broski's trying to work an angle.
Sí, señor. Usted me conoce. Usted sabe que hay respeto. Nada más.
Ya está, igualmente. De aquí para allá también.
Yo, bro. Yeah, he's trying to work an angle, bro. Because of what you're talking about, I'll take that as disrespect. This guy just called you dumbass, MF, B, F, G, C, D, A. Like, what are you doing? Broski's called you all of that, and then all of a sudden the disrespect is going to be him from turning off his phone, bro. Come on now, man. He knows what he's doing, bro.
Aquí los muchachos son los que están allá y usted yo se los saludo.
Ahora pues, ahí le encargo.
Ándale, sí.
Ahí relájenmelos a todos, dígale que va de parte mía.
Claro que sí.
Ya está.
Ándale.
But how did the Mexican and U.S. intel caught him? Why do you follow the girlfriend? Yes, literally follow the girlfriend. Intel identified a trusted cartel associate with a very specific job, moving one of El Mencho's love interest. They placed this courier under strict, round-the-clock surveillance, waiting for him to make a move. And eventually he did. Agents tracked the associate as he escorted the girlfriend to a secret rendezvous point. The trail led them exactly where El Mencho felt safest. The heavily guarded, secluded cabin compound in Tapalpa, a picturesque mountain resort town about 80 miles outside of Guadalajara. On Saturday, February 21st, 2026, the girlfriend arrived at the compound. Mexican military commanders had eyes on the target, but they didn't rush in. They played the waiting game. They held their positions watching...
That's what I'm saying. When you have a threat as big as that, bro, fam, not one mistake can be allowed in that, bro. Take your time. If you're not sure, wait for it, fam. This is crazy, bro. One of his most heavily guarded spots in that, bro. Military protected. $1 million put in there, bro. Surely the people guarded have had combat experience, all of that type of stuff, just for it all to come crashing down in that, bro. Because of one female and that, fam. And because your flipping boss couldn't keep it in his pants, fam. Crazy to me.
Silently until she safely departed the property later that day. Her departure confirmed what they needed to know. El Mencho and his heavily armed security detail were still inside. To pull this off, the military had to maintain absolute secrecy. In the early, pitch-black hours of Sunday, February 22nd, the trap was sprung. The moment they breached the perimeter, all hell broke loose. The CG&G didn't just have standard rifles. The compound was a fortress defended by armored vehicles and military-grade rocket launchers specifically designed to blast military helicopters out of the sky. When the Mexican Army Special Forces breached the perimeter, a fierce, sustained firefight erupted. The air was instantly thick with the deafening roar of 50-caliber machine guns and the shattering blasts of rocket-propelled grenades. 4 cartel members forming the inner security ring were killed instantly in the courtyard. 3 Mexican Special Forces soldiers were severely wounded as they pushed through the barrage. As his defenses collapsed, the 59-year-old kingpin attempted to retreat.
Oh shoot, so he was shot.
But where was he during the raid? Tactical reports place El Mencho in the west wing of the safe house, a fortified section of the compound likely intended to shield him or provide access to an escape route while his guards held off the assault. But the military's push was too fast and...
But you're telling me that the yard was just wood and glass? So these men had 20 bill at their disposal and didn't think to use no armored plates, no, I don't know, fam, like... insulate the house a little bit more, bro. Like, what the hell we doing, fam? Or even like have a panic room or something and that. But like, I don't know. Tunnels underground, like what we doing? Like the hell? You're telling me these man had all this artillery, but then it was just some wood cabin. Like, come on now, man. Ain't no
too
way.
overwhelming. Amidst the chaotic crossfire, Mexican special forces laid down heavy suppressing fire using their standard issue FX-05 5.56mm assault rifles. High-velocity rounds tore through the reinforced doors and drywall of the west corridor. Caught in the fatal funnel of the hallway, the Kingpin was hit. Struck multiple times in the torso by the 5.56mm rounds,
crazy,
El Mencho
man.
collapsed onto the floor of the west wing. Critically wounded and bleeding heavily, his remaining security detail was neutralized. We also made a deep dive into the sea, air, and land components of the nuclear triad, so subscribe for more videos to not miss a beat.
Yeah, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Shout out to AI Telly. First time reacting to one of the videos. Hopefully it goes through and that, man. And yeah, man, I enjoy videos like this right here and that, man. Because especially when it comes to like visual learners, which I don't even know to this day what type of learner I am. Visual, non-visual, audible, flipping, I don't know, bro. Drawing, like, in a bit, man. It's your boy Jazz, I'm gone.